All right, let's dive right into a really fascinating strategic analysis of a recent and kind of puzzling U.S. naval deployment. The whole theory centers on this idea of a two-carrier mission, which the source material says is unlike anything we've really seen in modern warfare.
And it all really starts with this one simple question. Why is the world's biggest and most powerful warship just parked where it is? The answer, at least according to this theory, pulls back the curtain on a much, much bigger strategic aim.
So first, let's talk about this puzzling position. The ship at the center of this whole mystery is the USS Gerald R. Ford, and where it's currently stationed in the eastern Mediterranean has a lot of military analysts scratching their heads.
To really get why its location is such a big deal, you have to understand what this ship actually is. I mean, this isn't just some boat. We're talking about a $13.3 billion projection of pure naval power. A ship like this is never, ever placed casually.
People are calling it the crown jewel of the U.S. Navy. So when the largest warship ever built makes a move, analysts sit up and take notice. And its current position is, well, it's deeply unconventional.
And here's where the puzzle really gets interesting. The source material points out that if you were planning a potential strike against Iran, you would expect the carrier to be in the Arabian Sea. But instead, the Ford is way over here, off the coast of Israel. According to this analysis, that is not a mistake. It's totally intentional.
And this brings us right to the heart of the analysis, a theory they're calling the sword and the shield. The argument is that this deployment isn't about one carrier group. It's about two, working together in a perfectly coordinated strategic dance.
Okay, so here's how the theory breaks it all down. You've got the USS Lincoln acting as the sword. It's positioned right where you'd expect it, in the Arabian Sea, ready for potential offensive strikes. But then you have the USS Ford playing the role of the shield, using its super advanced missile defense systems to create this protective umbrella over Israel.
You know, the source material puts it perfectly. This isn't just about having a backup. It's a deliberate strategic design. What we're looking at here are two carriers with two totally different jobs, but they're both operating as part of one single cohesive plan.
So, why is this such a big deal? Well, if this analysis is right, we're not just looking at some clever little tactic. No, we could be witnessing a fundamental shift in military thinking, an entirely new carrier doctrine. And the absolute key to this new doctrine is splitting up the work. The U.S. seems to have divided its carrier forces into two distinct roles that are happening at the same time, offense and defense. One carrier is the spear, and the other is the armor.
And historically, this is pretty wild. The analysis points out that you have to go all the way back to 1945, to the Pacific campaigns of World War II, to find the last time a similar split doctrine was used. So what we might be seeing here is the revival of a very old but very powerful strategy.
All of this, the positioning, the two carriers, it all leads to what the source is calling a strategic checkmate. The way the USS Ford is positioned creates a kind of military and political trap that's almost impossible for an adversary to get out of.
The analysis lays out a really clear sequence for how this trap springs. So just imagine a U.S. strike happens. In this scenario, Iran retaliates by launching missiles at Israel. But, and here's the absolute kicker, those missiles have to fly directly through the defensive bubble protected by the USS Ford. That means any attack on Israel automatically becomes an attack on U.S. forces. This quote from the source just drives the point right home. Because of where the Ford is, Iran can't retaliate against Israel without also, by default, engaging an American carrier group. The two actions become one and the same. And the ultimate result of this checkmate, as the theory goes, is an automatic, full-scale U.S. military response. There's no new vote, no political debate needed. It's like a preset military trigger.
So, to wrap this all up, the analysis we've been looking at today argues that this single strategic decision has absolutely massive implications for global power dynamics.
The analysis claims this whole strategy seriously weakens major U.S. adversaries and their networks around the world. Proponents mentioned in the source are even calling it a major step forward, with huge implications for safety not just in the Middle East, but for the U.S. and Europe too.
And so, we're left with a really compelling question, right? Is this positioning, like the analysis suggests, a brilliant new blueprint for projecting power and keeping things stable? Or is it a really high-stakes gamble that locks everyone into a path of escalation with no way out? That's the big question this fascinating analysis leaves us to think about.